Chapter 6340. Duncan blurted out excitedly and then tried to lower his voice and said, "This idea is great. It's like a Trojan horse infiltrated in major airports, which can lurk and monitor silently 24 hours a day. We operate the company's business normally, but just open a hidden data interface on the server, so that the RE model can capture the surveillance video in the server through the hidden interface in real time. And everything is under control. If the vending machine business is well developed, the streets and alleys of major cities may even be covered by us. By that time, we will have our own Skynet, distributed in the streets and alleys all over the world." Charlie couldn't help but give Maria a thumbs up and praised. "This idea is great. How did you come up with it?" Maria smiled and said, "Just now you just said that you want to hack into the surveillance videos of major airports. I think this is definitely unrealistic because there are so many airports in the world. Even if we can hack into every one of them, we don't know how long it will take to operate one by one. What's more, behind all commercial systems, there are very powerful service providers who are constantly upgrading and optimizing. It is their key work to constantly find and fill loopholes. It is very likely that the airport we hacked into last month will suddenly have the loopholes plugged after an upgrade one day. In this way, it is difficult for us to achieve comprehensive monitoring." Speaking of this, Maria continued, "Although the UGC that Inspector Lee mentioned is very useful, the initiative is not in our hands. There are too many uncontrollable factors, so I think it is more reliable to build a set of our own monitoring system. But the airport is a public place with very high security boarding. The possibility of installing surveillance cameras openly ourselves is very small. So we can just use this camouflage mode and the most inconspicuous method to put surveillance cameras in the airport. So for this, the vending machines are the best solution I can think of." Charlie nodded and said, "This plan is very feasible. And the degree of camouflage is very high. I have lived for almost 30 years. Whether I go to a vending machine to buy something or pass by one, I have never thought that the vending machine will not take my personal image. Almost no one will set up defenses against such things. As long as we operate it properly, this Skynet system can quietly blossom all over the world." Duncan reminded, "Mr. Wade, if you want to achieve this, you must ensure that every company we acquire is operating normally. In addition to the core technical personnel, the others must be in good condition. None of his employees can access this information, so that they don't know what the company's motives are behind giving them this job." Charlie smiled and said, "Don't worry, I will find a way to mobilize my connections and use a large number of shell companies to make acquisitions all over the world. China will be handled by the Su family, Europe will be handled by Helena. North America and South America will be handled by the Fei family. Japan, South Korea, and other parts of Asia will be handled by the Ito family. For Africa, we can give the old man of the Su family a chance to make a contribution. The old man happens to be a local landlord in Madagascar. As for Oceania, I can't think of an acquaintance for a while. But it doesn't matter. If it doesn't work, I will send someone from the front. When the company is acquired, the technical personnel will be provided by the N family. And all the backgrounds will leave an interface to connect here." Marcus saw the three people running to the corner and whispering for a long time, and curiously came over and whispered, "What are you talking about here? So devoted." Charlie smiled and said, "Research a new business with a lot of imagination." Marcus asked curiously, "What new business? Tell me about it." Charlie said, "I want to monopolize all the vending machines in the world, and strive to have 80% of the vending machines in the world mine in the future." Marcus was stunned and said awkwardly, "Charlie, what imagination is there in doing this business? If you are given the operation of all the vending machines in the world, you can't make more than 10 billion or 20 billion US dollars a year. And you may even lose money. This thing is just a small fight, it can't be big, and the profit margin is very low. Equipment costs money, venues cost money, electricity costs money. And employee salaries are also indispensable. In addition, the equipment also wears out, and there are maintenance and replacement costs every year. In places with poor public security, there is also the risk of losing both money and goods. At the end of the year, you can only earn hard-earned money. Charlie smiled and said, "Second uncle, don't say that it can't make more than 10 billion or 20 billion US dollars a year. Even if it doesn't make a penny a year, or even lose more than 10 billion or 20 billion US dollars, I will accept it." Marcus couldn't figure it out, and asked with a puzzled look, "My good nephew, the money you make from selling a rejuvenation pill is more than Coca-Cola Group can make in decades. So why bother with vending machines?" Duncan on the side couldn't help but say, "Skynet." Marcus. Skynet system. Skynet? What does that mean? Marcus was even more puzzled, looking at the three people blankly, not knowing what the three people were up to. Charlie smiled and said, "Inspector Lee. The cameras of Skynet are installed high up and monitor from a high position. Ours should be considered a ground network.